Today in this video, I'm going to be taking an article that is failing miserably at AI detection, and I'm fixing it live. 4 passes right here on screen, and then we're going to take a look at the before and after scores. In the last video, we looked at 15 things that show up consistently in AI content. That's those AI tells when you have articles written by ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. Things like M dashes, formal contractions, and that standard AI vocabulary list. We also talked about importance inflation, false ranges, and those sort of compulsive summaries that really kill your engagement when readers feel like, ugh, this isn't written by a real person. It's basically the statistical average of a giant corpus of text applied to every single statement as it's output by the AI tool, by the LLM. Today, I'm taking one of those articles that was flagged by our human editors, and I'm going to be fixing every one of those AI tells live on this video. 4 passes, under half an hour on a 1,500 word piece. And by the end of this video, GPTZero score is going to drop from in the 90s to, wait for it, we'll show you at the end how much the AI score is fixed. And more importantly, the article sounds like a human wrote it. So make sure you hit subscribe and let's dive in. So if you recall from our last video, we looked at 100 articles and we compared them between AI labeling and human labeling. And we tried to get a sense of how accurate the AI scores were versus the human scores. And here's the AI labeled set. So based on these articles, you can see that our assessment here of some of these articles is very, very high likelihood that they are AI. And this one in particular here at the top, I think our assessment, was 95% confident this is AI. Sort of corroborated here by the scores of the AI detection tools, all of which flagged as pretty much heavily AI, and then our manual assessment corroborated that fact. So why don't we take a look at the article here? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paste this into a Google Doc because there's a lot of kind of like ads and parts of the page that are mucking it up. All right, so let's paste it here in a Google Doc. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to clean this up just a little bit because we've got all sorts of stuff here. So I'm going to fix the formatting here and clean some of this up so I can edit it better. And then we will jump into some of these edits. So again, here, just a reminder, guys, this is I think we covered it in the last video pretty extensively, but just real quick, this article that we're going to be working on is a technical guide from one of our studies. It's a DR78 site with a named author and a professional bio. And basically across the board, as I said, despite the fact that it's a sort of a technical article, very high likelihood of AI. Now, the thing is, when you look at the article itself, on the first read, it doesn't actually, I've cleaned it up a little bit to get rid of the ads and just kind of fix the text uniformly, but I'm a little bit OCD when I need everything look a little bit nice before I edit it. But yeah, the info here, I have a little bit of technical background, but I can tell you that it's pretty accurate. Like the links are pointing to good resources. The info is factually true. It's calling like genuinely technical knowledge in the right way. The issue is it has a lot of AI tells. It has M dashes. There's no contractions. The word gracefully shows up 3 times throughout, which I'll point out. And here there's a perfectly balanced list. Like the list has almost every list item has like the exact same length. That's usually a pretty obvious tell as well. Bold headers on each list item, a save from me opener, and massive importance inflation in a couple different places, which I'll point out. There's zero like variance in the sentence structure, so they're not really changing from longer sentences to shorter sentences, which is usually an AI tell. So again, 4 passes here. Let's take a look at how we can edit this. So remember the 4-pass framework. If you haven't seen the previous video, again, we'll link to that in the description. But when you're editing these videos, each pass through an article has one job. Pass 1 is the mechanics pass. So in the mechanics pass, the first thing you want to do is kill the obvious. M dashes, we're going to fix contractions and scrubbing the very clear AI vocabulary. This is fast and mechanical. Should be spending no more than 5 to 10 minutes on this. Pass 2 is the rhythm pass. And the goal here is to break up the monotonous pacing and the sort of consistent sentence structure. We want to add sort of succinct burstiness to the tone to make it feel punctual, but also change the sort of physical texture of the prose. So like humans, we have variance in the way we write and we think. Pass 3 is the voice pass. This is where we add specificity. You can even weave in a little bit of opinion and a bit of imperfection. You can even, I don't say misspell things, but use stuff that's grammatically maybe a little bit weird or off. So it adds a little bit of flavor. And this is kind of the hardest part of the process because there's no real rule book or perfect set of guidelines that you have to follow. It's sort of a matter of taste. And pass 4 is the opening pass. We're going to delete the first paragraph from the article, and we're going to write a human one from scratch. So wish me luck on that one. All right. M dashes, our favorite AI tell. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is search for the M dash character. And in this case, we have 44 M dashes. I mean, that's an egregious amount of M dashes. So the first thing I'm going to do is very quickly, I'm going to fix the M dashes that are very obviously fixable. So let's run through them really quick. So here in the intro, we don't even need this. And then we'll probably save you too. Comma works just fine. The M dash is unnecessarily heavy-handed sort of tone. This is again, this is redundant. So I wouldn't use this here. I'm just going to delete this. And then combine these so it's not a standalone paragraph. Once you click to make so you can see I'm a bit OCD here, but let's so most of these should just be commas. As you can see, there's an egregious amount here. So I'm going to breeze through the rest of these and then we can move on to some of the other ones. So there you have it, guys. I've actually gone through and I've replaced a good chunk of the M dashes. And again, I've left a couple of them in. I actually thought that some of the M dashes are well placed. As you can see, I've left a few in earlier on. So what I'm going to do next is focus on the formal contractions. So formal contractions are changing UR to your, it is to its, does not to doesn't. Now, you might get some grammar telling you that, it's good to use these like non-contracted phrases instead of the contractions, too informal. Well, in reality now, because AI is overly formal, it's good to sort of balance it out the other way. It depends on what you're writing and who you're writing for. Of course, if it's like a dissertation, you want to use less contractions. But in the case of internet content, even if it's technical, it's good to go with some contractions. So let's add some, combine some of these. So do not. Let's see how many do nots we have. Do not, we have 2. Okay, that's pretty easy. You don't. I really like making these, let's see, cannot, you are. I actually like this here. Again, it's personal preference. This is definitely more of a figure of speech. You're in good company, so it makes more sense to say it more casually here. It doesn't happen often. Definitely sounds better with the contraction. So let's do this. Doesn't return. Real win here. Yeah, there we go. I think that's good for formal contractions. That was pretty easy. We're in a lot, like the M dashes. 44 M dashes. That was insane. So there we go. Let's look at the vocabulary list. So I'm searching for the classic AI tells. These are sort of like transitional flowery language like delve, moreover, furthermore, robust, pivotal, that kind of like wording. Also looking for stuff like leverage or underscores, stuff that conjures the idea of a potentially physical way of looking at something without actually saying the physical thing or needing the physical thing to be broached as a adverb or adjective. So let's look for some of these. I'm just going to go searching for the ones that I love. Let's see if we can find delve. No delve. What do we have? Robust, very common. Building, robust. This underscore is wow, we will here. This underscore is a pivotal role that timeout management plays. If you're running multiple agents in parallel, one hanging bottleneck One hanging call can bottleneck your pipeline. So I think we don't even need to underscore it. This sentence says what we already said. Timeout guards and this is actually this sentence here is a little bit better because you were sort of trying to wrap up the thought here with a heavy-handed wording. So this is the end of part 2. So it does make sense to have sort of a concluding sentence here. Timeout guards are indispensable, are, let's say, important part of any your agent architecture. There we go. Let's see. We have one more. These 5 patterns are. Here we go. We have it in the title. We'll leave it there. What else do we have? It's worth noting, the real win here is transforming. Plays a key role. It just maintains. There you go. Again, here, garbage, I feel like it makes a lot of sense, right? You're not trying to be flowery. So next function. Boom, very clean. See how this is much cleaner. All right, that's pretty good for vocabulary. Let's move on to the compulsive summaries. I think I probably passed my time here, but we'll go quickly. So here we go. In conclusion, I know these in summary, we already got a few of those. So I already actually got these overall. Oh, there's a lot of overall. You don't need, just say it. Boosting your productivity. Improving reliability. See, boom. And so this paragraph is kind of long. Let's chop it up. Is a testament. This decoration shows how. Boom. Get rid of that. So I'm kind of significant, pivotal. We already covered some of those. Note. We got rid of important to note already. Significant shift. Improving code reliability. So these are odd editorial commentary moments or importance inflation. So again, editorial commentary is like, it's important to note. It's as if you, the writer, or the writer is basically stepping out of the article and commenting on the article itself. No, just write the article, say the thing. Stop trying to hit me and hit me.
Come on, stop trying to hit me and hit me.
Don't talk about fight, right? If anyone catches the Matrix reference there. And then importance inflation, oh my goodness, that's the obvious AI tell. Like the AI thinks is so much cooler than it actually is. It thinks it's like some sort of like super nerdy liberal professor that's like going to comment on like the intricacies of Python development. Just like people want to know how to do it. And if anyone's actually reading these articles rather than the AIs themselves. So there we go. That's probably closer to, it took me a while to get through. There's 44 M dashes, but that's pass 1. That's the mechanics pass. Again, just to summarize, we have M dashes, formal contractions, the vocabulary list, compulsive summaries, so in conclusion overall, editorial commentary, like it's important to note, it bears mentioning, and then importance inflation. So we've gone through all of them very quickly, but that's what you want to do. You want to breeze through that stuff as fast as you can. So now the most obvious mechanical tells are gone. The article is already feeling much more like it was written by humans. And to subscribe to this channel, you need less than 1 minute. If you're getting valuable information from this channel, guys, please hit like, please hit subscribe. I know we're a new channel, but we're aiming to put out more and more content as we do these data-driven studies every week. We're dropping all sorts of new videos, not just about AI SEO, not just about link building, not just about GEO, but about marketing automation and all the new tools that are coming out to help marketers really succeed in this new era. Even seeing the subscriber count grow just a little bit each week is very encouraging. So I really appreciate the subscribers, all 50 of you that have subscribed so far. So thank you guys. All right. With that said, let's get into pass 2, the rhythm pass. So what does pass 2 do? It fixes that flat, monotonous pacing. So you want to look at the physical shape of your paragraphs. You saw me chopping them up a little bit. That's just out of habit. If every single paragraph is like 3 sentences long or 4 sentences long, and every sentence has the exact same count, or give or take, you've got the AI rhythm. It's all sort of the same. It all looks the same. Human writing has variation. Use shortened sentences for impact, then use longer paragraphs to draw a thought around, wrap it around, and then punctuate it again with a short sentence. This allows ideas to breathe. This allows ideas to take shape, and it most certainly makes the article feel like it was written by a human, because it usually is. So let's quickly dive back into the article. I'm a huge fan. A little known fact, I used to ghostwrite for Neil Patel when I first cut my teeth trying to make money on the internet. And the type of prose that we worked on as ghostwriters, there's multiple of us, was called conversational marketing copy, conversational content. And it wasn't new. It's sort of like an adaptation of sales copy, but it definitely was something you'll see on his blog that a lot of people copied. And it's basically shorter paragraphs are key. It feels like you're having a conversation. Every paragraphs are short. Your mind is constantly jumping from line to line, as opposed to reading across and trying to absorb information. The article itself is guiding you through the content by holding your attention with sort of punctuated content. So I think you get the idea, but let me just show you what I mean. If you have missed this, if you built agents that work perfectly in your notebook, that work in your notebook but collapse the moment they hit production, you're in a good company. This is a topic that doesn't get enough attention, yet it represents a big shift in how we think about reliability. APL, or just keep doing this. The reality deploys, and most of the pain comes from handling failure gracefully. Here's the thing. You don't need a massive framework to solve this. Once you understand these patterns, I would actually put this back up here. There you go. So you have 1 sentence, 2 sentences, 2 sentences, 1 sentence, a little bit of variability. Every agent talks to external AIs, but many, okay. Oh, I missed this. It's worth noting. Okay. Look at this. See how it feels it feels longer, but it feels much more like a conversation that you're having with the reader. You're jumping from idea to idea. And it's not, you don't want to arbitrarily chop these up. I'm trying to pick conclusive thoughts, right? Sometimes an ellipsis here helps, and so on and so on. So it kind of drags and then jumps to the next one, right? LM calls can hang. I like that. Boom. It's a very succinct way to start a new concept. This is sort of data heavy. It makes sense to keep it together. So don't wait. It's a don't wait. That's what I'm saying. It's a joke. Timeout. All right. Here's something that will cut your. You could go with that'll. That's a little bit too informal. That will cut your. Here. This isn't perfect grammar, but so what? It kind of makes it interesting. This matters more than you think. Ellipsis. Again, these are sort of things from sales copy that when you're trying to get someone to read 20,000 words of a sales letter, you have to keep them going from overall. Cashier's assessment, the power says, there we go. Boom, boom. So here you go. I really enjoy this because it's how I think, and not everyone wants to do this, but for me, reading an article that looks like this, where there's these short thoughts contained in 1 sentence or 2 sentences, is much more enjoyable to read. It's much easier to read than trying to read blocks of text. One thing I like to do is I'm reading these aloud in my head, so that's why it might feel a little bit weird as you're watching me do this. But what I'm doing is reading these aloud, and so I'm seeing what does the sentence sound like when the thought finishes, and what does it jump to in the next thought. So that's kind of how I do it. So that said, let's move to pass 3, which is the voice pass. I think we've done enough paragraph chopping up for the day. So we're on to pass 3, the voice pass. So pass 3 is the hardest. This is where you add what the model cannot provide, a perspective from actually having done the thing. And you're going to be wondering, Dan, are you a Python coder? Once upon a time, I took computer science 101, so I'm fully qualified to tell you how to code Python.
I actually took some computer science in college.
No, but in this case, of course, I'm not a developer. I'm an SEO. I'm a digital marketer, but I have some technical capability. I've written probably hundreds of articles about technical subjects over the years for the purposes of SEO and link building. So I'm qualified enough to edit them. But nevertheless, I'm good at adding the perspective in a way that makes it feel like it's authoritative. It makes it feel like it's a human writing it. And that's really what matters in terms of AI detection at the end of the day. So how do we do it? Well, the first thing you can do is be specific, add specificity. What I'm going to be doing here is replacing vague references with real data. So for example, before you could say, if the function does not return within a number of seconds, after you could change that to, if the function does not return within 30 seconds. Before you could say, you might set up a fallback from one model to another model to a local model. After you could say, you might set up a fallback from GPT-4o to Claude to a local Llama 3 running on a Mac Mini in Office. So again, you're just specifying where you're running the model and what model it is. And that is enough specificity that it feels like, hey, this isn't just leaving these words as open-ended things, which creates all these open loops for the reader in their head and makes the article sort of challenging and burdensome to read because you're not actually saying what you mean to say. And sometimes you don't know. So if you don't know, maybe it's best to leave it out, right? The second way to sort of add the human touch and tone is with opinion. And I'm going to be looking at this perfectly balanced list here in the article. And I'm going to try to decide which one of these really matters more than the rest. So let's see here. Let me quickly read these. Just say something like, on these 5, the retry decorator is the one I install first every time. Caching is nice. Validation is smart. But retry is the one that keeps your agents alive at 2 a.m. when you're not watching. I've never lost a client because a timeout was missing. I have lost one because a rate limit retry wasn't there to save me. There we go. Let's leave it at that. So this is really my opinion. Anyone who's tried to manage agents knows exactly what I'm talking about. You really need the rate limit retry, but yeah, some people have agent swarms, some people are coding, some people are doing just more business processes. For me personally, the retry matters a lot. So that's what I'm going to add. And that perspective adds an opinion. It adds my own voice to the article, which is a very human thing. I'm not a robot yet. I think you can see why opinion matters. And if you want our opinion on your website and your GEO strategy, we are offering free audits right now. It's not a generic automated report. It's the same analysis that we use for our clients every day, enterprise brands that are buying tens of thousands of dollars of links from us that help them generate more traffic and show up better in AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. So if you want us to take a look, hit the link in the description below and we'd be happy to do so. All right, back to the article. Okay, so the next part about the voice pass is you want to look for false ranges and ing phrases. So what are these? I'm fixing those from X to Y constructions. I'm either going to make the range real or just use specific examples. I'm also cutting every sentence ending ing, meaning ing at the end of the sentence. Those phrases that really aren't doing anything valuable at the end of the sentence. If the sentence is done, I'm letting it be done. You saw me do this before as I'm going through. I think it just comes so naturally, but you just want to see, is the sentence over? Okay, so this almost says 2. Once you understand these patterns, you'll be equipped to tackle to build simple retry logs to complex multimodal. Transforming your, again, this is just like very serious important equation. Transforming your development workflow and boosting your product. That's fine. Let's see if we can find some ings. Error handling is an actual term, so that's not And streamlining, that's close. Streamlining. So I think I got a lot of these already. So let's see if I can find. Yeah, so I think I've got most of these already. So we'll have to jump back to earlier in the video to see what I was doing. But yeah, they're pretty much taken care of. So let's move on to the last part of the voice pass. This is called the tangent. In this case, I'm adding one short tangent. We all have that friend that goes on long tangents when they're talking. I'm probably one of them. But it's fun to go on tangents sometimes, so long as you always bring it back, right? And humans like to connect ideas to adjacent topics. It's fun to go down rabbit holes in your mind. It's fun to multi-thread ideas. It's fun to go on tangents. It's fun to take that side quest, right? That mental side quest. AI tends to stay in its lane. And so a brief aside really signals that you're a real person, is a real person behind the keyboard and behind the content. I'm not going to add a tangent here because I'm not sure if it's appropriate for an article about AI agents in Python, but you could probably add a metaphor in this case. You could maybe tell a short story that explains something that happened when you broke one of these rules for yourself. Maybe you were a junior developer at a tech company and you didn't follow these and you tried to build an agent and then it ran amok. So stuff like that, those are obviously very human elements to a piece of content. All right, pass 4, the opening pass. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paste the original intro here again, so you can see it. We'll comment it out. Okay, so the last pass is called the opening pass, and there's a lot of ways to do this. The main thing you want to look out for is that AI openers tend to try and justify the topic or explain the topic rather than just jump into the topic. And the funny thing is, before there was AI, there were farms of humans, so low quality writers around the world, or even wherever, that just would write like not well, and they would use some of these same things too, right? It's like they would talk about the thing rather than just jumping right into the thing and getting value straight away. And coincidentally, if you attack the thing, you're honoring the reader's time, you're respecting the reader's time, and it's good for SEO. Obviously, because your engagement's going to be higher, but Google starts to see that, hey, you are hitting the main keyword, the main target right away. Maybe even the first word of the entire article. So I'm not going to say that this one is particularly terrible. In fact, I've already edited a little bit as I went through, but I will give it a crack. So we have the original introduction. We have sort of my edited version here. So the issue here, again, you can see is powerful. So you'd want to, this is, again, the purpose of these is to get traffic, right? And so in the case of AEO, SEO, GEO, we want to know what are people searching for that they're going to land in this page. They're going to be talking about Python decorators for agents. That's pretty much it. They're not going to be searching just for Python decorators. That's been covered many times, many other articles, many guides. It's Python decorators for agents, and it's probably people that want up-to-date information because everyone's building agents now. So you want to say something, it sounds almost obvious, like, are you actively building, if you're actively building agents and getting hung up on Python decorators, this article is for you. We're going to cover the 5 most common decorators and see where most agent building or agentic devs get hung up, and how to do where to get stuck, and how to use them the right way. So, okay, right away, this is addressing, you're talking directly to the reader. Get rid of this. Surprisingly, this topic doesn't get much attention. There is a big shift in how we think about agent reliability. Let's dive in. There we go. So again, it wasn't a terrible intro, but keep in mind I had edited already. This again has that sort of technical yet marketing-centric conversational copy, and is much more engaging. If you're actively building agents and you're hung up on Python decorators, this article's for you. If someone lands on this and opens this article, that's probably what they're here for. So that's probably what they want to read. So if they're not, then they're going to bounce anyway. So you don't want them on the article. They're going to hurt engagement. So this is a great hook because you know that they're already there for it. So this just solidifies that. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, that's me. I'm in the right place. All right. So let's do this. We're going to take a look at, we're going to go to GPTZero. And we are going to do, we're going to go back to our article here. Again, just for record's sake, we will take this. Let's put it in a new doc here. Let's get rid of the ads again. Lots of ads on this website. Good for them, making money on ads. Get rid of the author bio. All right, so we've got all the text here. Now let's plug the text into GPTZero and let's see what we get. Okay, so we say 91% AI. So yeah, that's about what was our assessment was 95, GPTZero 94. Maybe they've changed the parameters a little bit, but roughly on par, 90% plus. So yeah, very clearly AI. Now let's plug in the Dan edited version 5 powerful. Now keep in mind we left some stuff in there, but okay, I'm just gonna put this in here. Scan. So we've gotten this down all the way from 90% to 34%. And that's a pretty big drop. That's a pretty big drop just by removing the AI tells. So before the 4 passes, the GPTZero score was 94%. After the passes, we get the AI score down to 34%, 60% drop. That's substantial. That's going to show up in indexes over time where they are trying to understand, are these articles being written by humans? Or are they being written by AI? And if they're being written by humans, you're more likely to show up as an authority in the AI overlays. You're more likely to get those clicks and that traffic and drive business to your website. So, you know, the information here, it really didn't change, but now you can see how it feels like there's a person behind the words. And that's the only thing that the reader really cares about, especially as the internet floods with AI content. And it's ultimately what search engines are looking for too. So to wrap up, the complete checklist, 4 passes. Here's everything in one list. Pass 1, the mechanics. Kill the M dashes. Use natural contractions like your, don't, its. Scrub the AI vocab. Get rid of delve. Get rid of moreover, robust, pivotal, leverage, underscores. Delete in conclusion, overall from the middle of the text. Use those for summaries only. Remove stuff like it's important to note. And cut pivotal moment and other such important inflation words. You don't want that. Number 2, the rhythm. Vary your sentence lengths. Let a single line stand alone. You see how I did that many times. And read it aloud to find the robotic parts and the stuff that just doesn't make sense to you. Number 3, the voice. Use real numbers and consequences. Have an opinion. Take a side. Pick a winner in your list. Don't make them all the same. Add the except when caveats and other types of caveats that shows that things are conditional. And fix the from X to Y false ranges. And of course, cut the useless ing endings to paragraphs. And 4, the opening. Trash the first paragraph, maybe even the second. Start with a specific moment or consequence and talk directly to the reader from the very get-go of the article. And the final polish, remove bolding from everything except for the most critical terms. In fact, bolding is kind of weak sauce. I suggest just not using it anyway. Break up those groups of 3 and kill the word quietly unless it absolutely makes sense in context. So guys, that's the complete framework between the checklist from this video here and these 4 passes. You have exactly what you need to beat AI detection and actually make your content readable and therefore authoritative. So go ahead and use AI to help you draft. That's totally fine, but don't skip the manual work. You have to run it through this framework every single time you write an article. If you want to see the actual process we use to build authority at Blue Tree, watch this video next. Until then, I'll see you guys next week.